Hello, my name is Jeff McDonald and welcome to my workshop. I've got tons of this wood. This is Florida live oak, so I'll be making a lot of these. I got shows coming up in the fall and I'm trying to knock a bunch of these out. These are the kind of bowls I could sell relatively inexpensive, and they're rustic look. I think people like the style, so I'm gonna just keep plugging away at them. So here's another one. Now another thing I'm doing different is this. I'm cut a larger hole to put on my chuck instead of using a woodworm screw. Woodworm screws are giving me a fit. If you don't get it on there tight, it comes loose, and then it just doesn't work at all. So I found this here works much better. I got new pieces for my chuck, so these fit right on there. So with that, let's get started. All right, so here's the jaws I was just telling you about. They stick out about 3/4 of an inch. I put a hole about 1 inch deep. So it'll sit on there and go all the way against the back, which helps stabilize, right? So I just put that on there and just crank it out, open the jaws up. That looks pretty good. Yep. All right, now let's looking at this piece. It's a little rough, a lot of cracks right here, but they only go down about an inch that I can tell. It's hard to tell over in the other areas. This is bark that's going to go away. Some other cracks, because it's in the pit right here was kind of over this way, and that's where you'll find the cracks going from the pith of the tree. Anyway, what I'm going to do is work on getting this balanced out so I can turn the speed up on the lathe. Meanwhile, I'm going to pull this up and stabilize this thing. There we go. So let me get my face shield on. Yeah, I think I'm ready. Get some more light on here. Alright, let me look at that. Now, to get rid of this bark completely, I would have to Man, I'd have to, well, it might be worth it. It's only about another, what is that, 3/4 of an inch. It'd be a smaller bowl, but I'll get rid of all that bark and we'll just have grain. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I thought about keeping it just for aesthetics, but nah, it's not that pretty to me. So I've had some like that I like, but that's a good bite. That's a nice smooth. It's got the right direction going. Man, I gotta take off another, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch maybe. It'll be a small bowl, but it'll be clean. There we go. Not bad. Let me get my glasses on. There we go. Check that out. Looks pretty good. This is the tenon here, and then this here is just going to be the bottom of the bowl. I'll remove the tenon later. That should be all right. I just grabbed a little bit. It's got a cut there. That looks pretty good so far. Now I got to finish rounding this off. Sure you can see that from there. I hope so. Kind of wish I had a camera up top to look straight down at what I'm doing. Maybe that's a future camera of some kind. Alright, that's an interesting shape. I kind of like it. I ignore these cracks. They're just part of the bowl. I used to worry about them. I used to fill them. But when you're dealing with Florida live oak wood, you just get what you get. I do have some other woods. I'm just waiting for it to dry. I have a magnolia tree that I'm waiting on to dry. My son cut it for me, and when I was up in Ohio, I got some from him. And then up in Wisconsin, I picked up a dark black locust, some pieces of black locust, not very much, not as much as I wish I had. But that's, of course, those two are still have to dry. So, all right. Let me see. I'm gonna put a 1/4 inch, and what that's going to do is allow me to put a little divot in the bottom for the medallion. Sorry about that. See, I've learned by watching others and listening to others, and plus my own experiences, when you're doing a bowl, you try not to go across this way to cut the wood, because you put a certain a sideways pressure, you can knock it right out of here. It's only held by a little bit, really. So by pushing in, you're pushing it into the chuck, and it has less likely chance of letting go. And I've had a lot of experience with chucks letting go and bowls flying, so I'm not a professional, but I am a professional of losing bowls. The smell. Interesting smell. This is not, I don't think this is Florida live oak. I think this is something different. I'm not sure what it is. Inch my way in. You know, it's been raining today, and it's been really cool out, but then now the rain's calming down and the humidity's going way up. So I need to turn my AC on and close my shop door and try to get it cooled off a little bit in here. Although this window AC has had better days too, but I put a household furnace, a 12 by 12 inch filter in front of that AC in the window, and it does seem to help keep it clean. All right, where am I at? Okay, we're getting there. Okay. Yeah, I've been trying to come up with ways to make this video more interesting. Tell jokes, I don't know. Other guys have a better knack at entertaining than I do. Oh, this is all I know how to do, really. I might get in some storytelling someday. You know, with 21 years in the Navy, I have some stories, but some of them I can't tell. And if you know what a Navy Seabee was, that's what I was. So, been a lot of places, done a lot of things. But, only kind of stories I really know. Let me feel that, see how deep we are. Okay, we're doing good. Very nice. Now I'm going to slow down a little bit. I'll get carried away and go too deep. That's pretty good. Now I'm starting to go across the bowl, like I said, I don't like to do. So I take really small cuts. I'm at a point where I don't want to plunge anymore. I don't want to go much deeper. Let me check. I do know that my last video, which I just published today, what's today, the 4th, the 3rd? I think it's 3rd of August. I didn't play any music, didn't do any fast forwarding. I just recorded the video, and I think I'm going to try that a little while and see if that's a little more entertaining. I know people come to watch people turn, not to listen to music, but if that's what you prefer, I can go back to fast forwarding and playing music, because you got to understand, I'm recording sometimes 3 hours worth of video, and there's just no way you want to watch me do just woodworking for 3 hours straight. So there's times that you want to fast forward and you know, play music and things to during the fast forward, because you don't want to listen to a fast forward music or fast forwarding me talking or something, right? Anyway, so that's another reason I always do that. But I'm not getting much traffic on my site, so I'm thinking, well, maybe I need to change it up. So just let me know what you guys think. Also, please subscribe, and please hit the notification bell so you know when I got new stuff out. And even if you only half like my stuff, why don't you turn it on and go do the dishes and let it play anyway. I'll cheat the system a little bit. All right, let me try to get a better light here. Got to scrape these tool lines out. I didn't mean to have this many, but I do. Okay, let's see what we got. It's almost perfect for where, I mean, not perfect, but right where I wanted it to be. A little bit more lines I want to get out here. Sometimes you think you could sand them out, and it's not easy to sand out big lines. You're better off trying to get them out this way. All right, that looks good. Oh, nope, got a spot right there. I can see it and I can feel it. All right, what I'm going to do now, it's all sanded, pretty much the best I can, and it's, I'm going to put this first step on it. It's a tongue oil is what it is, and let that set for a couple hours, let it soak into the wood. It does a good job with, you know, protecting the wood later in life. The bowl will last a lot longer with it being soaked into the wood. It's got a lot of color in this wood. You know, I didn't know what this was made, this kind of wood this was, so I assumed it was an oak, since where I live, there's primarily oak trees in Florida, other than palm trees, but palm trees are no good for turning. So I went online and I downloaded an app that you take a picture of what you're looking at. And I've had other ones also, but you had to have the whole tree to get it to work. Well, this one you could just take a picture of the bark. And so the first picture come back, and this is the kind of wood I've actually using right here. And I took a picture, well, it's fungus is what the first picture, because it's got a lot of fungus on it. Come back with fungus. Okay, so then I've got this on here now. Then I took a picture of this. What came back as teak. Well, that's odd because teak don't generally grow in Florida. It's got to be a more tropical climate for teak. So, I don't know. I'm going to keep that app or not. It's $50 a year. You get a 7-day trial. It sounds like my trial. I'll keep testing it on other things, but I don't think this is teak. It does look like Florida live oak to me, but the bark does not look like flat Florida live bark to me. So, anyway. All right, I'm gonna let that soak in. Give it about 2 hours. I'll come back and wipe it off, and then we'll put we'll go to the next steps. Okay. All right. Well, it's been a couple hours. I'm gonna wipe off the excess of that stuff. I don't know. Sorry for my air compressor. It has a mind of its own. Okay, so what we're going to do now, sanding paste, okay, put it on. What's this here? Interesting. All right, let me put this on, kind of smear it all over. I use an air compressor to blow it out of, later on I'll blow it out of the cracks because you don't want to leave it crap in the cracks. Okay. And this sanding paste works really well. What I learned is I'll start it around, I don't know, 800, and you keep working it up to about 1,000 RPM, 1,200 RPM, and it really does a good job of softening the wood, making it really sanded. A good sanding job really is what it does. Of course, these cracks kind of mess with the rag a little bit, but this is what we do. Now I'm going to do this for a little while, and I'll come back when I'm done. It's going to take a while. All right, now final thing is the polishing wax. Okay, this Axe product is, I like it. You buy it in a set of all 3 containers, and it works as a team, I guess, as a group of finishes to get a final, very nice final. Wax goes on really good. And what I do is I'm going to turn on the lathe, and then as I'm turning it, the friction heats the wax up, and it really, just kind of seals everything, and it makes sure the wax stays attached to the wood that way. You know what I mean? I hope I'm making sense. Okay. Normally I would have used walnut oil, Mahoney's walnut oil on this, but I because of the holes in it, would have probably been a better choice. But this works. I like it. It's going to have to work, huh? It's too late now. I've got it on there now. Turn it up to about 1,000 RPM. Little pressure, and the wax turns liquid, and that's about it. I'll come back when the bowl's finished. All right, so got all the wax pretty much dried, it seems like. I'm going to go ahead and remove this tenon that I put on to turn this bowl. Looks like I gotta go a little further with I gotta put the bit back on so I can finish drilling. I didn't go hole deep enough with this hole. All right, we can do that. Easy enough. We got everything we need to do it. Yeah, I gotta move the camera a second. Close your eyes. There we go. Gotta move this again. That stupid handle gets in my way every time. I gotta take it off or something. I really hope that little one here didn't go through. I don't think it did. All right. I think I can just sand that'll be good. Yeah. You know, I think I've said this before, but I've not talked to myself this much in most of my life. I talk to myself a lot since I've been making videos. All right. Just a minute. Heavier. Heavier sandpaper. Yeah, I did a good job. All right, I tell you what, I'm gonna finish this up. I'll come back when I'm all done and show you what we got. All right, this little bowl is finished. Come out pretty nice. It's just a tiny little bowl. It's only what maybe 5 inches across. It might look bigger on screen because of you know, but it's only 5 inches by about 2 inches tall. Nice little candy dish, maybe M&Ms or something, or some peanuts. Some very basic. Here's the bottom, how the bottom turned out. And of course there are some cracks in it, but that doesn't really take away from what its purpose is, right? It's just a candy dish. But anyway, I just want to thank you for watching. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe and ring that notification bell. Okay? And I do appreciate you watching. It does a world of good for me. Comment on anything and everything. The more comments, the better. That's the world of YouTube. They like to see his comments. But anyway, with that, I want to say thank you very much for watching. God bless. Have a great day.